Back to the book. Dennis Deal remembers. We moved online for about 100 or 150 yards before the volume of firing forced us to stop. We were taking too many casualties. I radioed Herrick's platoon and said, I think we're getting close to you. Shoot one round off, wait to the count of 3 and shoot 2 more. The radio man or whoever was on the radio did that, so we had a pretty good fix on where he was. We got up and started the assault again. We went about 10 yards and the whole thing just blew up in our faces. The enemy had infiltrated between Herrick's platoon and us, and now we're starting to come behind us. So that platoon that had gotten separated, this element with Dennis Deal was going out to try and get contact with them and bring them back inside the perimeter. They're assaulting. They go 100 yards, 150 yards, and they start getting mowed down. And now they realize that in between, they've got bad guys in between where Herrick's platoon is and where the rest of the perimeter is set up. Because they do have kind of a rough perimeter on this landing zone. And the landing zone, apologize for not explaining this. I mean, in order to bring in helicopters in the jungle, you need some open space. So the landing zone, LZ X-ray, is an area where there's not much foliage for whatever reason. And so that's where they've kind of consolidated their forces, only because they can't go anywhere else. They hit the ground, they start getting shot at, so now they're setting up what's called a perimeter. And obviously, Herrick's platoon is outside the perimeter. Back to the book, Lieutenant Deal adds that he and the other 2 platoon leaders now began planning yet another attempt to break through and rescue Herrick's men. Leaders were running back and forth coordinating when all of a sudden firing began. The lull dissipated quickly. It was at this time my weapons squad leader, Sergeant Curry, the chief, was killed. His last words were, "Those bastards are trying to get me." He was caught rolling around on the ground. Later on, as my men were carrying him back, I had them put him down and turn his face toward me and looked at him. I could not conceive of the chief being dead. Staff Sergeant Wilbur Curry, Jr. of Buffalo, New York, was 35 years old.